Make HR easy with MyHR. Go to myhr.works to find out how.
Some movement on the Silver Lake deal between the players and the rugby union. They've invited Forsyth Barr to have a word about the proposal, which would involve selling the 5% stake as a public offering on the NZX, of course, raising about $190 million. Silver Lake's waived the right to block those talks. The Players Association boss, Rob Nichol, with us. Rob, morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Is this a win?
Oh, well, it's all about getting a win-win for everyone here, isn't it? But I think dialogue and getting this option on the table is a good thing for rugby New Zealand, and it's good to have it out in the public and people talking about it too.
Do you believe it's in good faith?
Yeah, that's the way you receive these invitations, 100%, and it's the way we certainly want to work. So we'll reciprocate in good faith, give it some consideration today, and get back to them probably later in the day or tomorrow with how we feel we move forward.
Answer me this. It raises money, yes, you're right. I think people would buy it, apart from anything else from the novelty value. But what it doesn't buy is the expertise the rugby union need to do what Silver Lake can do.
The capability, the big question of capability. I think you've got to take a step back. Like most of these processes are about developing your business plan, and that's what hasn't happened in this instance. So with Silver Lake, the proposal was to do the deal, sit down, develop the plan. That would then tell you the capability and resources you need. Now, in doing the deal with Silver Lake, you are benefited by being able to access their capability through their networks. But that's also a constraint, Mike. If you have to use Silver Lake people, they get to write a veto over CEO, CFO, over the chairman. You are constrained to their networks. The other way to look at this, and the different narrative, is to say, if you do the New Zealand Inc. offering of 5% at a high valuation, at a 23% high valuation, $3.8 billion, you're able to shore up the balance sheet. You're able to do your short-term strategic investments into the provinces to provide the community game with really. You're able to put your $50 million into the commercial entity for growth capital, and you can do your business plan, which would then tell you this is the capability and resources needed to accentuate growth in the future. And the beauty, Mike, is that the world's your oyster. You can tap into that capability wherever you choose to. You can tap into New Zealand networks, both here and overseas.
Yeah.
You can still utilise IMG, 100% owned effectively by Silver Lake, just like the Indian Cricket Board do. They use IMG to grow their revenue and to develop them, but they haven't given away 12.5% of their net revenue forever in order to secure their services.
So what you're saying is you'd hire the expertise.
Two different ways of looking at it, mate.
Yeah, so you'd hire the expertise, not give away a stake to get it.
Yeah, pretty much. You'd look to engage the expertise that your business planning process determined that you needed, which we haven't undertaken yet. So this magical word of capability, no one can actually tell us specifically what that capability is at the moment, because we need to do that business planning process to work it out.
Have you got past the Forsyth Barr David Kirk connection? I mean, that doesn't look good. If it was such a brilliant idea, more than Forsyth Barr would have drummed it up, wouldn't they?
Well, let's just look at that. You mean the chair connection? So David's a non-executive chair of Forsyth Barr. He has no involvement in the day-to-day management of the business. The engagement of Forsyth Barr was overseen by myself and one of the other independent directors. I can give you a practical example. David was chair of TradeMe and on the board of Forsyth Barr when TradeMe was listed.
Yeah.
Another good example, he was chair of Kathmandu and chair of Forsyth Barr when Forsyth Barr raised, helped raise $209 million for Kathmandu during COVID. So these kind of potential conflicts, it's about recognising, it's about managing it, maintaining personal and organisational integrity in terms of how you deal with it, and that is exactly what we've done in this instance.
Have you got past
yet?
This is a
good proposal to have on the table.
Okay, have you got past yet? They were ropeable with you in what you did when you dropped this information on Friday. Have you got past that bit, or is there still bad blood?
No, look, we weren't ever in it. This is not a them versus us in our view. It's been a little bit of a one-way war of words, and we're just not interested in that. You've known me a long time. It's not the way we work. This is about rugby in New Zealand and what's best for us moving forward. And we've been part of a process where we've been informed that there is no other option. And you've been across this. There has only been Silver Lake on the table. And rightly or wrongly, Mike, our curiosity and our questioning just led us to feel that it just didn't feel right to be told that New Zealanders would not be interested in buying a piece of the All Blacks, that they wouldn't subscribe the same valuation as the third-party Anglo-American private equity company. So we simply picked up the phone 10 days ago and said to Forsyth Barr, could you just have a look at this for us, put something together? And what we got back, Mike, was that we can do this at a valuation of $3.8 billion, 23% higher than the Silver Lake valuation, that it would be oversubscribed by 3 to 4 times, that between the New Zealand institutional investors and the public, the demand for it would equate to somewhere around $650 million. You would easily raise that $190 million. It's a fully underwritten offer, Mike. It's a done deal, in other words. That's something that has to be looked at, mate. Like, we have to.
All right.
And I think that's what we're asking. We're asking everyone to open their minds. We recognise the provinces have voted effectively to approve the deal, but at the time they didn't have all the information, and that's what we've been able to reveal. And that makes people uncomfortable, and we understand that. It's okay to take a step back now, take a big breath, maybe undo the approval and say, you know what, maybe we got something wrong during this process. That's okay. It's all about how we move forward from here.
We will stay in touch. Appreciate your time. Rob Nichol, Rugby Players Association.